Ross, you now have about $80 million of Tesla shares, down from $100 million earlier this year. At your peak, how much Tesla stock did you own?
I think we had about 1.5 times more than we have today.
So that's not that much more.
No, we've cut our position by 60%, so that's fairly large.
Are you buying or selling today, or buying or selling right now?
Neither. Tesla is a hold for us. The people who are holding the stock at our firm, our clients, very much believe in Tesla and don't want to let go of their shares at all. And then, the clients that don't want to own Tesla don't own Tesla anymore. But we're not recommending to buy Tesla, or per se, more likely recommending to sell Tesla for investors up at these prices, because you're getting such a premium valuation. But in general, we've just been holding the stock because, we're kind of stuck with our position right now.
What about you? Because we check in with you quarterly, and you've really changed your position on the company in recent years, in recent quarters, and your position on Elon Musk too. Are you a believer in the company right now?
Yes and no. I still own Tesla stock as well personally, not a lot, but I like to have some because I bought it at $1 a share or $1.50, so it's like fun to have in my portfolio still. But that said, I don't know what's going to happen with full self-driving. I just don't think it works, and I think vision-only systems don't work. And I'm very sure of this now, even though I'm not an engineer. I can explain to you how humans drive, and I don't think Elon gets how humans work. I think he gets how machines work. And so I think that Tesla's in a pickle. If they can solve full self-driving, like I could get in my car right now and push a button and it drives me home, like I can get in a Waymo right now and it'll drive me home, no problem, then I think Tesla has a reason to buy the stock, because now they've got their products working and they can grow from there. But as far as waiting for robots and cabs to pay off, it doesn't matter if full self-driving doesn't work, and full self-driving doesn't work. So nothing's going to get me excited about Tesla until it drives me home.
All right, good stuff. We're talking with Ross Gerber. Ed Ludlow, I know you're reading over stuff. Come on into the conversation with Ross.
Yeah, I mean, just going through the deck, the way that Tesla explains it is that they had lower FSD revenue recognition in this quarter because of the timing of previous generation releases of FSD in the same period a year ago. I'm not a Tesla shareholder, as you guys know, but I do drive a Model Y. In fact, and I use FSD every day for about 60 miles, 30 miles to work, 30 miles back. I'm not on version 14 yet. But Ross is speaking to the question which is always there. Explain the jump or the steps to the end result, the end state. The end state is robotaxi, right? If Tesla is to be believed. And right now, the street seems kind of split on whether we understand how we go from a software platform that consumers pay for as a one-off or a subscription package to a world where the vehicles built on a common software platform or iterations of that platform power a proprietary ride-hailing robotaxi service. It's difficult to see the jump, and Ross can speak for himself, but just in the reporting, that's what we hear all the time.
Yeah, I mean, you're 100% right in that these are completely different businesses, right? Like selling cars that drive themselves is an Apple business model. And that's why I always loved Tesla. When I first found Tesla, I was like, this is the Apple of cars, right? Like you build hardware and with great software, and then you make money on services, right? And that's really where Tesla's making a ton of money right now, is on services and energy storage, which are still great businesses for Tesla. But when you talk about building an Uber-like platform, this is an extremely difficult thing that it took Uber almost a decade or more to make money doing. And Uber's very, very good at this now. And the only way they've been able to make money is by charging substantially more for the rides, because Uber is not cheap anymore. And they had to subsidize rides for a decade just to build that business. So when you actually think about Tesla scaling, if there was no competition, that'd be one thing. But there's already several cab services I can take right now, whether it be Uber, Lyft, or Waymo, that are all very good at what they do. So, even if Tesla gets this to work, it's still a tough business. And the second thing I was going to say, Ed, you use full self-driving a lot, obviously. You probably, if I asked, do you feel comfortable turning it on and going into the back seat of your car and letting you drive that full 30 miles home.
I've never done that or attempted it. And I think, I post quite a lot on X, my experiences. Like I say today, this is what happened. I would never get in the back of the car and turn it on. I also would not put my little baby boy in it either. But the way that I've tried to track it is generation by generation. How is it improved on the route that I take every day? The one area it's really struggled is with the toll booths on the Golden Gate Bridge. That can be precarious, and you can see my post on that. On your point, in the AI graph of the shareholder deck, the way that Tesla explains it is that the latest version of FSD, they say, has a substantial amount of the source code in the robotaxi version. And by putting it out into the real world, it gives them valuable real world data to help them improve a future robotaxi service. I don't weigh in on that one way or the other. I'm just saying that's Tesla's explanation on the link between the two, the consumer-facing FSD and the same code base that will be used to power a future robotaxi service.
Hey, Ed, Ross made the point that he doesn't believe vision-only FSD or vision-only self-driving works. Can you talk a little bit about that technology that Tesla uses versus the other companies, namely Waymo and Amazon's subsidiary as well?
Yeah, so very simple. When we say vision-based system, the inputs for the vehicle are only cameras on a Tesla. The cameras capture optical data from around the vehicle and use the underlying algorithm to make an onboard decision, interpreting the world around them. The opposite academic view is that you need to paint a richer digital picture of the world using other forms of data gathered by LiDAR, radar, and in some cases even going beyond that. Like there are varying degrees of LiDAR, spinning or stationary or static, The economic argument that Tesla and Elon Musk have always made is that having a vehicle that has multiple sensors on it is not scalable. There is no end result where the vehicle could be affordable for a consumer or profitable for an operator of that system to run. The other robotaxi companies like Waymo or Zoox, who do have multiple sensors and custom versions of them, say that you have to have them for redundancy. So if one of those digital pictures fails, i.e. the vision one, the cameras fail, or the LiDAR radar fails, you can still be safe because you have a rich enough digital picture of the world around you for the vehicle to make a decision based on the circumstances presented in front of it.
So let me put this question to both of you, and let me just start with you, Ross. I mean, I've gotten in a Waymo. I love it. And I've sat in the back seat. I've closed my eyes for like a 30, 40-minute trip to an airport. I have loved it. So FSD, full self-driving, are we crazy to think that that's going to be our world going forward? Or do we have to change our infrastructure dramatically to make it possible going forward? Like, trying to understand, because if the model is so
I think
tortured,
the infrastructure is the hardest part, the hardest part.
Well, I'm just thinking, if it's such a tortured model, like, are we crazy to even be talking about it?
You're getting into one of my favorite discussion, debate, issues out there right now, which is the future of what mobility actually looks like. And my basic premise is that humans love to drive and are not giving it up. And I'm now raising my children. I thought when I had children that we would have had this mastered, that my kids would never learn to drive. But my kids learning how to drive now. You know what I'm saying? And people love to drive. Now, younger people don't love to drive as much as older people. That's one thing in our surveys we've noticed, okay? But I'm not giving up driving. And if I live another 30 years, I'm still going to love driving. And I love cars, and I love driving fast. And I love, driving the one freeway, whatever you want to call it. But, humans love the independence and the functionality of having their own vehicle. It started with the horse, We all had our own horse. You fought to the death to protect your horse. And I just don't see people giving up cars anytime soon for a lot of practical reasons, like when you're doing errands and you have to store stuff in your car or pick up your kids and then go to soccer. It's like you're not going to be taking cabs everywhere. That's just not a realistic view of the world. So unless we rejigger cities and start from scratch, I think the biggest use case would be in very dense urban environments that are very difficult for people to drive. Just saying no more cars, it has to be cabs. That makes sense in New York City or downtown LA, let's say. But I just don't see how you implement that because it's like millions of people already have their commuter lifestyle, and I just don't see how that changes.